The spirit ignores you, focused as it is on tearing the source from its captive. It stinks of dark magic. There's nothing in the spirit but pain, its own and that of its captive. He resists the agony, but it's only a matter of time before the spirits tear his source away. The pain begins to hurt you too. The spirit seizes the pain you inflict upon it and turns it back on you. The pain you share nears unbearable levels, and the spirit begins to smile. This is the pinnacle of its existence. And then it exists no more. The pain it gave you ebbs away.
Stop! I told you to leave! You're going to kill me! You can't!
He shudders as fresh waves of pain course through him.
Leave, while you still have a chance. And don't touch the...
He passes out mid-sentence from the pain. The dark stench assails you. The spirit concentrates on tearing the source from its captive. The spirit seizes the pain you inflict upon it and turns it back on you. And then it exists no more.
Stop! Yeah! Stop! Please stop! The pain! It's too much!
His face goes slack as the pain renders him senseless. The man doesn't respond. He's out cold. The dark stench assails you. The spirit seizes the pain you inflict upon, and then it
You should have told me you were expecting visitors.
Run, you fools!
I might ask you the same. This place is mine, after all, and Ahu was my prisoner.
Why, Kim? Why betray everything for which you once stood?
Betray? I didn't betray the Order. I liberated it. As one of Lucian's pawns, I stood for weakness, frailty. And then the God King showed me the world as it could be. He made me a promise. He promised me a path unburdened by Lucian's pathetic need to defend the defenseless. He promised me a world dominated by the worthiest bloodlines across the ages. He promised me a lasting seat at his glorious table in return for my oath. For the king chooses only the strongest, the most loyal, the most deserving. And now, God-woken, I uphold the final act of my oath. Your execution. You can forget about finding Lucian. Believe me, no good comes from our so-called divine. I thought you might say that. Never mind. Soon enough, you'll be free of this folly.
I'm alive. I was convinced the pain would destroy me. That you would destroy me. But you freed me instead. The pain is gone. I feel almost whole. I will be, I think. Now that I'm out of Kem's damnable clutches. He and his Black Ring cronies will stop at nothing. To think I trusted a traitor. I thought him a friend, a protector of the city. Yet all the while he was trying to gain entry to the tomb, to Lucian's body. Just like you, I presume? You didn't come here by chance, did you? No. Your power, your skill. You're a god-woken. Out of the kindness of your heart? No, I think not, god-woken. You want something. You want to enter the tomb of Lucian, don't you? Well, what people believe about my role as the keeper of Lucian's tomb is all part of the Divine's plan. You are God-woken. I was told God-woken would want to get into the tomb. I was also told I should make sure that doesn't happen. I swore an oath to prevent anyone from ever entering the tomb of the Divine. But that may have been a mistake. I've heard of your deeds. People call you a hero. Maybe you're worthy after all. The Divine's tomb is a fortress, a gauntlet. No single person was entrusted with the entire sequence necessary to enter. Not even I. Lucian insisted that no one ever approach his remains, especially a god-woken. Before he died, he arranged for the lone wolves to hunt and harry any rumored god-woken until they were dead or banished to the ends of the world. Within Lucian's body resides the very power of the gods. The power to seed a new divine. He insisted this power remain there, eternally sealed within the tomb. To what ends, I don't know. But I know that even in his great wisdom, Lucian could not have foreseen times like these. The void's silent scream is about to engulf us. This is why I will help you. Because I believe only a new divine can save Rivellon. To pass the path of blood, you must bypass the statue of Lucian. The scroll of atonement, when used with a source amulet, will provide an alternative route. Have you by any chance met Sanders, the toy maker? He helped engineer the path of blood for Lucian. Well, most of it anyway. He's a genius, but his ways are, let's say, idiosyncratic. You may tell the toy maker Sanders I sent you. Sanders is the expert, but once you claim the amulet and the scroll, I'll explain how to use them. But be warned, bypassing Lucian's statue is just the beginning. I may be able to forewarn you of the dangers you'll face, but you must still face them. I'll be recovering in my chambers at the cathedral. I will answer as best as I can. One designer, Sanders, became a toy maker of all things.
Ahu barks a mirthless laugh.
The others died. Dead bones keep secrets better than any living thing. The Divine worked in mysterious ways, and it was not our place to question him. I hope his spirit will forgive me for breaking my oath. He knew that his mortal remains would hold great power. The servants of the Void would naturally seek this power. We can never allow the Black Ring to lay their hands on his remains. Good luck, Godwoken.
With a glint in the dark of his eye, the spirit of Kem sneers at you.
I am sworn to the king, and sworn I remain, Godwoken. I owe you nothing. Ishbel? Damn her to Nemesis if her duties go unfulfilled. Weak, even in undeath, consumed by petty jealousy of the God King's star pupils. Yet our master's might is legendary. With or without me, with or without Ishbel, the God King rises. My aims are, no less than the God King's triumph. That's all you can know. Enough! Is it not obvious to you? To own the city is to own the cathedral, to own the tomb, to own Lucian. Lucian is the key. The seven may be dead, but their essence still lives within his rotting corpse. When the God King claims that final pearl of divinity, his reign will begin. Imagine it, Godwoken, a pure and perfect world. Cowards will no longer beg for scraps at warriors' feet. The fruits of our own labor will belong only to us. The divinity held within Lucian's cadaver belongs only to the king's chosen, and you are not worthy. My master requires nothing less than the dead divine lying in its most famous tomb. There is still the wisp of the Seven residing within him, a single wisp separating the rightful king from his kingdom.
What? No! No! This was not the deal! This was not the deal! I will return! I will return!
Well, well. We made it to the big smoke.
If Anne claps you on the shoulder...
Do you know, this Ark's place doesn't look half bad.
The ghost looks around the room with an incredulous shake of his head and fixates on the set of paintings before him.
What a fool I've been. Thieving was the best chance I had of keeping afloat in this wretched city. Never thought that would mean trying to impress a band of urchins, let alone getting crushed by a damn golem. Big Tomorrow said they'd let me in their grubby little guild if I helped them nab that painting of Chem's, the second passion of Lucian. Well, we made it in all right, and while Chem's constructs tore me to shreds, they all ran off with a painting. If you don't know her, it's best to keep it that way. That Thieves' Guild of hers is a cutthroat bunch of young'uns.
Come out, wherever you are.
Crowded these rooms have become.
Well,
Once
isn't this
year,
convivial?
calm.
Well, hello again. Held captive? In my own home? This can't be my husband's work. There must be some sort of mistake. The cat in the garden. Ahu. He seemed resentful of late towards his position, towards the whole order. It was more than mere bitterness then. It was treason. In a way, I suppose. My husband showed scant care for others. I did what I could to compensate for his failings. Though not enough, evidently. I care for the people of this city, I truly do. I brought them into our home so that I could hear from them, to let them know that their betters listened to them. My husband? What is it? What happened? I know. My husband's actions are his own. I do not condone them. He dug his own grave, then, with the choices he made. Do you know how it happened? Then he reaped what was sown. You have my thanks for your candor. I'd like some time to myself now, if you don't mind.
Lady Cam nods to you, her expression unchanged. But she holds your gaze a little too long. A moment passes.
Oh, but you seem to be a bit feverish. Violent plants, that's simply impossible. Those seeds were a gift from the doctor himself. As exotic as these symptoms you've presented with, I dare say. Perhaps you should see him, dear. Something is clearly ailing you. I won't weep for a traitor. None should. Arx is a better place without him. Do be careful not to break anything, good sir. Come out, wherever you are.
And here I am, to tip my cap.
I know quality when I see it, and I bet you do too.
me break my bond, I'll help you in return. Dropping the barrier requires a sacrifice. It won't be for naught. Then free your source, that you might free me in turn. It won't be for naught.
You reach your hand towards the device, and your inner source is stifled, as if you'd never rid yourself of that cursed collar. After a bit of tinkering, the machine whines pitifully, and the shield surrounding the cell flickers off.
Come to me.
She steps forward, slowly but confidently. She holds out her hands, bony palms up. They emit no fire, no ice, no curse.
The God King no longer grants me his favor. Mask ripped from me and flesh flayed to bone, because the God-woken still walks Rivellon. Now he's chosen another. I should hate you for what you've done to me. Hate you for the hell I've lived. But I hate him so much more. He loved me when I was useful. He cast me out when you failed to die. Go to the new chosen. See that he suffers. See that the God King suffers. In your name and in mine. The Covenant, it sounded so beautiful. Eternity right there at my fingertips. Yet it's all a lie. There is no grand reward, no enduring prosperity. Just slavery within the void. The rule of a hellish hand. I was so naive. The God King told me I was special. He came close, and then closer still. Hearing him, feeling him, it was like crashing over a cliff and having him catch me over and over. I failed him. You just wouldn't die. Of all his punishments, the harshest was the emptiness, the lack of him. I thought if I could just regain his affection, I might taste it again. I go to Linderkem. He is the God King's current beloved. No more skin in his real bones than on a peeled jackfruit. And it is not only his ear the God King whispers into. The dwarf called Isbale. She bends to the king's every whim. There's a Swornbreaker scythe somewhere in the Kem estate. It'll free me from the Covenant. I'd be mortal, yes, but no longer a slave. No, the God King's special boy. You're certain? For some of us, death is merely a temporary snag. Yes, I see it in you. You are certain. Then that makes my next step all the simpler. Yes, her. Oh, Let me see if I can work up some grief over the news.
A moment passes.
No. The God King. He said if I could find Dallas, eliminate her, I could take my place by his side again. But Kem, he doesn't like competition. All it took was a few whispers. They spread to the Magisters quickly. The Magisters, they've got ways of silencing Source. They knew exactly what to do. The Paladins, well, when they found me, they'd no idea what to make of me. You would do this? You would allow me to be finally free?
This creature, this monster, would have seen us drowned at sea. Kill her!
If the God King has truly abandoned her, then this is our chance to slay her once and for all.
Wendigo has done nothing before to earn my trust. This changes nothing.
This creature, this monster, would have seen us drowned at sea. Kill her.
This creature, this monster, would have seen us drowned at sea. Kill her.
If the God King has truly abandoned her, then this is our chance to slay her, once and for all.
Consider me moved, Godwoken. Your mercy is boundless. Before I leave you, I have something for you. Something I learned. A touch of void, if you will. And now I break his shackles and end this misery. No goodbye has ever been sweeter.
Wendigo's bones clatter to the floor. She is free to enter the hall, free of the God King's shackles. You hear a voice echoing within you, Wendigo's voice.
I am me, and only me. The next move is yours, Godwoken.
It was her that failed her lord. It was her lord that failed her.
You give her far too much credit. She was no more than a blundering slave, unfit for the lone task she was given.
Wendigo's spirit quakes. She is no longer the arrogant banshee that summoned a kraken and brought down a magister vessel, but a fearful child bracing for parental punishment.
He's close, so close. Can't you feel him, Godwoken? The king approaches.
You reach out to vampirize her essence, but Wendigo's spirit remains whole. The more effort you expend, the stronger the resistance.
He's tearing away my soul, Godwoken. Cast me to the void if you must, but do not let him take me.
Wendigo's spirit flutters and writhes. Your skull squeezes tight, and your throat burns with fire, but the substance of her being is nearly yours. Your head shrieks as if split in two as the God King severs your link to the spirit. Wendigo looks to you in horror as the king seizes his property and collects on her promise.
What do you suppose the Magisters are doing with her? Go on, be safe.
Go ahead, but be careful. She'll get...
Besides, they won't.
More black wax. Another life sacrificed. I can't bear it.
I welcome you comers and natives alike. We shall train. We shall talk.
Back again, eh? I don't blame you.
It's not often that you get to meet a world-class artistic mind. And they are part of a private collection now, Lord Kem's. Perhaps he'll grant you a... There's a reproduction on display at the cathedral. Not the same as viewing the original, of course.
Roll up, roll up. I've got what you need.
You're positively haunting me with your presence of late. Something I can help you with? Source, what else? Each and every one of my darlings has a little bit of magic in them. It turns a mere toy. I love my work. I love...
He throws an adoring glance to...
My darlings aren't like that. They're pure and beautiful. They don't make mistakes, and they don't question my desires. I don't need others anymore. I have something better. Held captive? By Kem? Are you certain? Then I was right to sequester myself here with my puppets. Trusting people is a folly. But it seems that you are to enter the tomb of the divine, and I am to help you get there. So be it. In order to pass the first chamber, you'll need an amulet that's charged with source. 5 souls worth, to be precise. Here, take this amulet and fill it with source. When you've done that, return to me and I'll tell you what must be done next. You must wear the amulet as you consume source. The excess power will be siphoned into it until it is full. Good luck. You may need it.
My amulet is glowing with source. It seems the amulet can't hold any more. Greetings. I trust that the item I gave you is having the desired effect.
Fully charged, you say? That would mean that 5 souls have been... Actually, I'd rather not dwell on exactly how you charged the device. On to the next matter. You'll need the Scroll of Atonement. It's locked in my desk on the 2nd floor. The password is Giora. When you have both the charged amulet and the scroll, go to the Path of Blood. On the left side of the chamber, on a pillar near Lucian's statue, you should see a hidden mechanism. It will clear the way. Good luck. You may need it.
Papa's permission granted. You may pass, friend, and...
The puppet's words choke off. It spasms and flares with source. Then it is still once more, and a different voice emerges from within.
You have hampered me long enough. This place will be your tomb, the only one you shall enter. Glory is mine.
The desk is locked tight. Instead of a keyhole, there's a gilded inlay that bears an engraving. It was all for you. Beneath this sits a framed square of blank parchment. You take a nearby quill and dip it into an inkwell. Then you poise its tip over the framed square of parchment. The ink is absorbed into the parchment until it vanishes. Somewhere within the desk, a mechanism unlocks with a click.
Intruder!
All seems well here. All seems well here.
I welcome newcomers and natives alike. We shall trade. We shall
The puppet remains motionless. The puppet stares at you with a fixed smile. No dust has settled upon its surface. It hasn't been here long. The puppet remains motionless. The puppet remains motionless. The puppet stares at you with a fixed smile.
You must truly savor my company, Godwoken. Something. Would you rush perfection? It will be ready when it's ready.
Tarquin's jaw tightens.
I dabble in all forms of learning, necromancy included. Can you really blame me for being talented? Can you really blame me when I'm forced to use my skills against my will? Who are you to judge me? Weren't you willingly trying to help those leeches? Those so-called gods? Their lust for power is the root of all misery in this world. But yes, I did it. I ushered Brachus Rex, the mad sorcerer king, back into the land of the living. I hope you'll admit, that is impressive. Dallas willed it, and I was in no position to refuse. She wanted to use Brachus to sniff out the Aetheran, to use a tyrannical king as her personal bloodhound, so she could get her hands on the most powerful purging device the world's ever seen.
She thinks she can control him. She is wrong. A creature like him will find a way to break his shackles. He must be eradicated. That's why I sought the pieces of Anathema. It's the only thing that can slay him.
What could possibly best the greatest act of necromancy ever performed? Reversing it. That's what. Here, take Anathema and keep it close. Without it, you are nothing to Brachus.
These Godwoken are going to be the death of me. growing soft, aren't I?
Allies for hire.
You always bring me to such wonderfully destructive places. I'll never find somewhere quiet to settle down at this rate. This place? No. Arx is clogged with Divine Order lackeys, from what I understand. It's not the sort of town where a girl like me could let her hair down, unfortunately.
Hurry along now. We'll need to find Dallas before it's too late. That's for you to discover. Arx is rife with Divine Order grunts, though. If she's among them, they'll know where to look. Take care of yourself, Godwoken. I may not always be there to do it for you. No, I'm holding.
Me too.
newcomers and natives alike. We shall trade. We shall talk. I serve all who seek aid, sir. As I promised, miracles at a modest price.
Broken arrow. You've got your work cut out.
Hear ye, hear ye!
I heard that the paladins killed unarmed magisters. Didn't even let them surrender.
So long as the arrow flies straight.
Not too loud. What do you think the paladins would do to us if they heard you going on like that?
I suppose Arks is still a free city, last time I checked.
There's bodies in the streets. This place isn't free, not anymore.
Paladins promise the good council school will reopen soon. People respond, no hurry!
I heard that the paladins killed unarmed magisters. Didn't even let them surrender.
Not too loud. What do you think the paladins would do to us if they heard you going on like that?
Arks is still a free city, last time I checked.
There's bodies in the streets. This place isn't free, not anymore.
All those broken arrows. You've got your work cut out. What you looking for? I'm not picky, so long as the arrow flies straight. Hear ye, hear ye! Hunters.
More wax. Another soul snuffed out with a single breath.
Hunters,
Ain't got damage to the wire. It'll fix it.
for your good health.
There's a potion.
Stuff. Beautiful and beguiling stuff. Buying and selling. Craig sure knows how.
I've walked this trail.
It's old Loro, trust me.
I'll be Lucian, and you can be the icky void woken.
But I don't want to be the void woken.